I am recording.
All right, so welcome everybody to our November Roundtable session. My name is Barbie Taylor. I'm the Assistant District Commissioner for Roundtable and the District Vice Chair. So we are just looking at some announcements. If you can just take note of those important dates so that you know what's coming up. We've got Scouting for Food meeting next Thursday night, 1 week from tonight at the Scout Shop at 7 p.m. for everybody to pick up their hangers and their maps and get more information about Scouting for Food. There's a Cub Scout leader specific training this Saturday, a week from Saturday, the 21st. And the Scout office will be closed November the 23rd to the 27th for Thanksgiving. And then the deadline to turn in your recharter is December the 14th. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or you can put a question in the chat. If you've newly joined the meeting, please in the chat, put in your name, what unit you're with, and which of the breakouts you want to go to, whether it be the Scouts BSA or the Cub Scout breakout. All right, so let's get started with our opening ceremony. If everybody could please rise. We're going to do the pledge, the oath, and the law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Great. Thank you very much.
Those in uniform.
All right, so now we're going to turn it over to Ms. Kaylin Furman, who is going to do our icebreaker.
Okay. I found this in the, well, it's up on the screen, the group meeting Sparklers from Boy Scouts of America from edition 1962. It's called a tree test. And I have 12 questions to ask about different kinds of trees. And then you can figure out which tree it is. The first question is, what is the double tree? Does anybody have an answer?
What?
What is the double tree?
Yeah, it's a hotel or motel.
That was good. Has to be a tree.
Oh.
Okay, it's the pear tree. I don't know where this came from, so I'm just reading. And it says, the second question, what tree is nearest the sea?
Chris?
The beech tree.
Beech tree, that's what it is, beech. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. I always mispronounce this word. Name the languishing tree.
Weeping willow.
No, it didn't say that. It says,
Languishing.
it says pine.
Oh, like you're pining.
Pining over there, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just now got the pear tree thing.
Me too.
Double tree, it's a pear. Ah.
Okay, what is the calendar tree?
A date tree?
Date tree. Y'all got it. What tree will keep you warm?
Fir tree.
Fir tree. You got it, Crystal. You got it. Okay. What is the Egyptian plague tree? An Egyptian plague tree.
Locust.
Locust tree.
Locust.
Locust. Locust is correct. What tree do we offer friends when meeting? What tree do we offer friends when meeting?
A palm tree.
A palm tree.
Not anymore. You got a fist bump.
Fist bump. It doesn't say fist bump.
That's
Okay,
what threw
well,
us
it's from
off.
1962. I mean, what tree is used in a bottle? Does
Pine
anybody
sol?
have an answer? Huh? What did you
Pine
say, Craig?
Said pine sol. It's a joke.
Oh, pine sol. It says cork. Is there a cork
Oh.
tree?
Oh, I
Yeah,
guess
that's where we get it.
Cork is a bark from a tree.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's mine. Here's one. What tree is used in kissing? And I didn't know this one. I mean, I know what that is, but I didn't know it.
Hmm.
It says tulip, but I didn't know we had a tulip tree.
Tulip tree.
I didn't know that was a tree.
So that I was
I
like,
know,
wow, okay. What tree is used to describe pretty girls? Now, this is back from 1962, so you gotta figure out what would they say back in that day, not today.
Peach
Says a
tree.
peach tree. Huh?
Peach tree.
Peach tree, uh-huh.
Nice.
What tree is an emblem of grief?
Weeping willow.
Weeping willow. Okay, last question. What is the sweetest tree?
Is it a sweet gum?
That'd be close.
Maple tree?
Huh?
Maple?
Maple. A maple tree. No, that's what they did back in the day. I thought, well, there's so much different things to do, but that was the opening.
That's fun. And so that book that you have, is it, you have a copy of that book? Oh, very cool.
It came out of the library of my troop.
Nice.
I was like, wow, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff in here that I'm like, wow.
I like that idea.
Stuff you have to do in person. It's kind of hard to do online.
Yeah,
So, but I have the original or whatever it was.
very cool.
But if you had time, you could make that into one of those Jeopardy games, a small version of a Jeopardy game.
Yep.
All right. Well, Kaylin, thank you very much. Tested our minds for a little bit there. And the play on words, it was punny. All right. So now we're going to go to our hot topic. And Christy is going to talk to us about safety while gaming. Christy, do you want me to open up the link?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and open the hot topic link. We will put this
All right.
document and the link that's in it on the blog when we're done. So, we've been joking about the wonderful world of COVID and pandemicking and being at home, right? And I have a nephew that he is 16. I have a 28-year-old son and a 26-year-old daughter-in-law that apparently they're big gamers, and the pandemic has done wonders for their gaming ability. They have just jumped up in the ranks. They are playing all kinds of new games. They are spending all kinds of new money that they really, probably didn't have to begin with. But, we're doing a lot more gaming, and not only are they just gaming just in general, but it's just like us, everybody's trying to find unique and great ways to engage their students, their kids, their scouts. And so we're doing a lot more online, right? We're doing a lot more gaming. We're using a lot more different platforms to kind of teach the things that we need to teach. And it's great and all, but the thing is that gaming opens up this world of there's no boundaries, no borders. I would have never in a million years when I was 16 have talked to someone from Australia. I would have never been up at 2 a.m. to play a game with someone in Australia, but my child plays with people from all over the world. And sometimes I think we have to go back and remember and remind our kids that while it's great that we have this opportunity, there are some risks and some responsibilities that come with that as well. And so one of the things that they talk about is safety while gaming in your units. You want to make sure that if there's any bullying or any trolling during the games, that those people are blocked and they're reported. There are some shortcuts we're going to talk about that you can do to ensure that you don't get Zoom bombed and all that great stuff. You want to talk to them about taking short breaks when they're gaming for extended periods of time. One of our points is to be physically fit. And the longer we game, the longer we sit, the less we exercise. In general, when I game, if I'm sitting at a computer longer than 10 minutes, I guarantee you that I'm going to be eating something. There's going to be a bowl of M&Ms. And so sometimes it's just detrimental to our weight. Don't share personal information with others in games. I always find it interesting. Our kids are rather, I don't want to say naive, but they're really rather naive about what the real world is like. And it's not unusual for them to share a lot of information. And so sometimes we have to talk about, it's not just sharing your name, your date of birth, and your address. It is something as simple as, don't tell them what school you go to. Don't share that you're on the basketball team. Don't share that you're at basketball practice till 8 p.m. Those are things that people with ill intent can use to come and track you. And our kids just don't think like that because, they're still kids and they're still innocent and we want them to stay that way. But you still want to make sure that we're protecting them. Avoid in-game purchases like loot boxes. And I'm just going to be really honest. I have no idea what that means. Anybody want to tell me what that means? Because I have no idea what that means. Okay.
I can explain it. It's effectively gambling. So what happens in a lot of these free-to-play games is that they will entice the user to roll a chance for an item in the game, and then so it's designed very much just like slot machines. You get a chance, you keep pumping money into it, but you really are not getting anything of value. There's actually some talks about regulating it because kids mostly play this in gambling. We don't want to have gambling tendencies for our kids. So it's a pretty serious topic.
Interesting. So if you have more questions about that, apparently Craig can tell us way more than I can. So if y'all want to talk with Craig about it, we can make that happen. Check the age rating of the games. This one is really hard. When my nephew was little, he wanted to play with my son who was, nearly 10 years older than him. And the games weren't appropriate. A 4-year-old should not be running around and shooting and killing people. He ended up doing it with his dad, which that's a different story. But, you want to make sure that what you're doing is age appropriate. Watch those unwanted messages, those private messages or DMs. You want to make sure that those are kept to a minimum. And you also, if they're gaming at home, in or out of the unit, you want to make sure that there's an adult involved in that. So if you're having a gaming party, a lot of groups, I thought this was a great idea, having a gaming party as a recruiting event. You don't have to have them all in the same room. You can set up the gaming room and they can all come in and play. It's a really kind of a cool idea. You just want to make sure that you're following all of the rules. And so the link takes us to another page to talk about the digital safety, health and safety in the digital world. So Barbie, if you'll hit that link for me. It just goes through the summary. If you'll scroll down to general information right there. So first and foremost, of course, always follow all of your guide to safe scouting, follow all your youth protection policies. You want to make sure that you also are watching that one-on-one interaction. Even in a digital world, we're not allowed to have one-on-one interaction with our youth. So you always want to make sure that it is a 2 deep leadership. Make sure that you don't have a leader that is, and this can be really hard, that you don't have a leader, especially if a kid texts you, you kind of just want to be like, I need to text them back and tell them. But you don't want to be caught up in that situation. So there's a reason why a lot of the schools are like, you know, you can't give out your phone number, you can't give out your Facebook, you can't give out your social media. Now, can they find you? Sure. If all your social media is named Randall Hust, it's a very unusual name, and they're going to find you. But a lot of those you can choose to friend or not friend. And so you have to make those decisions wisely. You want to use a business-oriented conference platform, especially those that have good safety and privacy features. You notice that we've started some new stuff. We have a password that you guys all get when we send out that invitation. That is to make sure that everybody who gets into this meeting is approved for this meeting. And then we have a waiting room. And you saw our waiting room work really interestingly tonight, because I have no idea what was it? The assistant advisor or the assurance advisor or whatever it was. I had no idea who that was. And because I didn't know who that was, I was, you know, I was really hesitant to let them in. Lucky for Austin, Katie knew who it was. And she was like, I'm pretty sure that's Austin. You can let him in. He's okay. She vouched for him. But that's the good thing about a waiting room, is you can kind of go through your list and go, I'm not really sure you're in the right place. And you know, you can really make sure that everybody that's going into that gaming room or into that platform is who you want to be there. You want to make sure you review and implement those latest security features. I am the world's worst. I will get 15 notifications that there's an update. I don't like updates. They change my phone, they change my Zoom, they change everything on my computer. I don't like them. But it's imperative that you do it, because they're always upgrading those safety features for this reason, so that you can make sure that, you know, you're doing everything in the best way. Do not record online activities and meetings that include youth participants. So this has been a sore spot for the last 6 months. And the reason is because there's a lot of PACs that are out there, and and troops for that matter, they're recording everything and putting it out on Facebook. Now it's a closed Facebook, so it's their members only. But I would, and there's some new language that's fixing to come out on this, because it has been such a big deal. I mean, it was such a big deal that we had to have a 2-hour conference call as the new Roundtable team to discuss whether or not we could record parts of Roundtable that had youth included in it doing the opening and the closing. I mean, it took us 2 hours. It is really highly discouraged for units to record their youth. The councils are going to kind of get a pass, because, you know, we do things like marketing videos and things like that, but there are some hoops that we're going to have to go through. And my stance would be just don't record it. However, I could tell you, PAC 536, man, they have some of the best skits. We saw them at one of the roundtables, and they used them for their virtual PAC meeting. It's kind of hard to do a skit with little bits on a Zoom meeting. And so I understand it. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying there's going to be some new language. Not really sure what the final language is going to be, but watch for that. If you have adults, you want to make sure you follow those laws. If you're in a state that says you have to tell everyone, you probably should tell everyone, hey, by the way, we're recording this. I didn't tell y'all that when we started. Barbie let y'all know that we were going to record it, but for those of you that came in late, we are recording this, so don't say anything bad about the council or Katie, because she'll go back and listen to it. All right, we love Katie. You say that. We do love Katie. But you want to watch those recordings, because it's really important that we're following those rules. Safeguard personal information. We've kind of already gone over that. If you'll go down a little bit, Barbie. Safeguarding personal information also includes collecting personal information. If you collect personal information, make sure that you're doing it in a safe way, and that you have a way to safeguard that information. And ultimately, do not collect personal information from anyone under the age of 13. If you need that information, you need to go through a parent. And that, I know 13-year-olds think they are adults and they think they know what's best for them. But as you can see right there, under the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, you cannot get any information from anyone under the age of 13. So if you do that, you are now breaking a federal law, and it can come back to bite you. So, as we keep going through this, I don't foresee this going away, especially with our numbers spiking. It's just a good idea to remind yourself, your leaders, your den leaders, especially if you're doing separate den meetings or patrol meetings, of all the safety issues that can occur when you're online, and making sure that when you're setting up that online platform, that you are ensuring that your kids are safe. Here's the way I look at it. Make sure your kids are safe. That's first and foremost. Make sure your unit is safe. Make sure you are safe, and make sure your charter organization is safe. That's about the safety of all of those, because I've seen them all be compromised by one, it wasn't even a bad decision. It wasn't the best decision, and it has compromised. I've seen those not best decisions compromise leaders and everything that they have valued in the system. So you just want to make sure that while you're doing all of this, that you're taking care, that you're setting it up safely, and we're teaching our kids how to be online and gaming and having fun, but doing it in a safe way, so that we can ensure that nothing bad's going to happen. So that is online gaming and how to do it safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. All right, so next we're going to talk about our safety moment, and Craig Jones is going to talk to us about winter sports.
So I'm just, there's a link that I think we can post on the blog, kind of giving general information about the safety of winter sports. And the one thing to keep in mind is that when I think winter sports, that includes, just winter camping in general, even packs that go camping in October. We've all had the experience at Post where it drops to like 20 degrees in October. So one thing, I'll just list off the general information, and then I'll just kind of give some anecdotes myself. So here are the key points that you want to do when you're having safety in the outdoors. Activities should be supervised by mature and conscious adults. Participants should be aware of the potential dangers of any winter sports, and leaders should stress incident prevention by emphasizing proper technique. Help participants understand the need for appropriate personal protective equipment, such as helmets for sledding, snowboarding, and skiing. Winter sports are more physically demanding. Leaders and youth should be physically fit and capable to participate. Be sure that equipment fits each person properly. During sledding, make sure the hill is safe and free of obstacles. Keep sledding paths and participant return paths separate from each other. Talk about and gain support for basic rules for the safety before it begins. Just kind of talking from personal experience, usually if we do any kind of winter sports activities, it's going to happen in Rio Doce. And if there's a great place that does tubing up in Rio Doce, that I don't know if you could really do that right now, given the COVID situation, but those places are, there's still a danger to them, but I think they're a better place to go than just kind of going off on your own, because you're at least in a more controlled environment. When it comes down to, we've gone skiing before, we usually we go to, one of the outfitters there in town to get our skis and have them fit the kids properly. Most people don't have skis. If there are people that have skis, they can bring their own, of course. And then we try to bring either experts to those things that can teach the kids how to ski, or we've even looked at getting like a group lesson as part of the safety instruction. Leading up to any of these events, it's my recommendation that you're talking about the safety and making it the theme for the month. I think this falls more into, the older scout category. I don't know if it's appropriate to go skiing with Cub Scouts. I don't think I don't know if that's in the Safe Guide to Scouting or anything like that. Another thing to keep in mind is like even dressing properly. You need to teach about the layers, your 3-layer wicking, warming, and the shell layer. I have a lot of resources in addition to what's out there online. So if anybody's interested, I have material that I've just kind of gathered over the years. Barbie's got several links there that you can kind of dive into.
I was going to see if skiing. Here's winter.
Yeah, I don't know what the Cub Scout rules are.
Yeah.
I mean, tubing is as harmless as it seems. Tubing, in my opinion, is almost more dangerous than skiing because you kind of don't get the control that you can have on skis. Also know your participants' skill level. You're going to have scouts that are going to be like, I want to go snowboarding. And it's kind of like, you really probably should learn how to ski before you snowboard. Snowboarding is more difficult. It's not totally outside the realm of things, but I don't think you should go, snowboarding on your very first outage. You should probably go skiing, kind of get your bearings, and then go from there. But you can have safe activity doing these things, and we've had a lot of fun. I know several other troops have gone and done these kind of activities. That's pretty much all I have. If anybody has questions, I'd be happy to answer them or talk through any logistics.
Anybody have any questions or comments about being safe during winter sports? All right, thank you very much, Craig. So now it's time for us to break into our roundtable breakouts. We've got the Cub Scout breakout room and then the Scouts BSA breakout. And based on what you had put in the chat, Christy will put you into that corresponding breakout room. If you did not put any information in the chat, please do so now so that Christy knows. We'd like to see your name, your unit, and then which breakout you want to go to, Scouts BSA or Cub Scout. And then what's going to happen, if you haven't been in one of our virtual roundtables before, Christy's going to assign you to that breakout room. You'll have a little pop-up that comes in and you can accept that and it will push you to the breakout room. We'll have 40 minutes in our breakout room sessions. You'll watch a video, have some discussion, and then at that 40-minute mark, we're going to come back to this general session for some commissioner discussion and some closing remarks. So Christy, whenever you're ready.
All right, I have everybody in the rooms and I'm opening them up now. You'll have 40 minutes. You'll get a 120-second alert when it's time to come back.
Thank you.
Hey, Barbie, I'm going to go remind the Scouts BSA to record their session. I'll be right back. You remind them to record it. Hey, Amber. Hey, Amber. I mean, Jennifer. Oh, Amber is looking at Amber's name. Hey, Jennifer, do you want to go to Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA?
Cub Scouts.
All right. I was like, or is this not Jennifer? All right. Let me get you assigned to Cub Scouts. All right. You should get a button that says join.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Facing us in Cub Scouting than the current pandemic. It has made things extremely challenging. However, we are Scouts. We take on challenges because we know our Scouts are watching us. We don't quit because this is the last thing that we want to tell our Scouts to do. We work together, we use our resources, and we keep the values of the Scout Oath and Law at the forefront of our actions. We are Scouts, and together, we not only will get through these challenges, we will do so with a smile on our face and our heads lifted high. So, are you with me? Great, then welcome to Roundtable. The number one question leaders are asking us is what is working? The truth is that there are several things that are working and very few things that are not. Our topic today is keeping your Cub Scouts, and the single most important thing to keeping your Cub Scouts is simply to stay active. I know, nothing is simple in today's world. That is why we're going to walk you through this together. Not just you and I, but your fellow Cub Scout leaders. Now, the second most common question we get is, can we start meeting? And the answer to that is, well, it depends. We know that many units are waiting for the green light to start meeting again. And the reason why you haven't seen that national green light is because we can't give one for everyone. There are still several states and local municipalities that are not allowing even small gatherings. We will review simple steps you can take to either get your pack back up and running, or these steps can be used to keep things running smoothly. They may be a pack that is participating in your local roundtable that can share their successes, and we expect that they can also provide some inspiration as to what is working locally. Before we begin, I want to call your attention to using this safety checklist. You can pause this video and use the QR reader to access this checklist. The acronym SAFE, SAFE, stands for supervision, assessment, fitness skill, and equipment environment. Recently, we asked parents and leaders to share their thoughts and feelings about the current pandemic. Here are key points from that survey I'd like to share with you. When we asked leaders of units who are not currently meeting why they were not meeting, the number one reason was a lack of a meeting location. 49.5% said they have no place to meet. The first step you must take is to check with your state and local municipalities to know what the current regulations are on meetings and gatherings. Your local council can assist you with this, as they are monitoring these regulations closely. You may find that there is not an absolute ban on gatherings, but there are some regulations that will require you and your parents to get creative. That brings us to the second step, which many of you have already done, which is to reach out personally with each family in your pack. Now, this call should be just to check in with them to see how they're doing. Through this conversation, you'll be able to gauge if that family is ready to do something in person or not. Keep in mind that you're not looking for most parents to say that they're ready, just a critical mass. This critical mass can be as few as 3 families, and I'll explain why later. When parents were asking what they were looking forward to in a youth program this fall, this is how they responded. 48% normalcy. I'm not surprised it's not higher. 45% to do something as a group, even if it means social distancing. 44% said to do something productive with other kids, and even if that means that's online. And then 30% is something to keep them busy. For those of you doing the math in your head, this survey did allow for individuals to give multiple responses. The overall message, however, is clear. There is a high likelihood that your families want to continue with scouting. Now for the third step. We're ready to get together and have some fun getting creative with our solutions. Knowing your local regulations and guidelines and the readiness level of your families to do something, pull together a small team to plan an in-person event, assuming that there are no local regulations against it. If you happen to be in a community where local regulations are so strict you cannot do anything in person as a group, we still want you to take this time to follow these steps so that when you can do something in person, you're ready to do so. In other words, we want you to be prepared. If you find that you are the only one trying to pull something together, reach out to your local council. I assure you that they want to provide you with as much support as possible and know of additional resources that are available to you. Now, this fourth step can be done simultaneously with the previous step, which is to engage your charter partner. Your charter partner may not have an indoor meeting space to provide you, but they may have access to an outdoor space or know of another facility that they can assist you with. If your charter partner is unable to assist you, you will still need to inform them of any decision you make about using a different location for your scouting activities. Now, remember that one solution for a meeting location may simply be the backyard, garage, or other location owned by one of your families in your pack. Check out the meeting place inspection checklist found at scouting.org and in Scoutbook. This will help answer questions your charter partner and parents may have about this new location. Now, the fifth step brings us back to the idea of only needing a small critical mass to move forward with an in-person event. We have been in contact with PACs from around the country who have found their own solutions to conducting an event in person. Each of them said that they found families who were on the fence about doing scouting again this year came out and they had a great time and they decided to stay. They found that families that had not responded to messages over the past several months just showed up. This speaks to this research that shows that many parents do want to do something in person. In addition to keeping more families from fading away, these PACs also send invitations to local schools and neighborhoods. For an example, here's a door hanger that two PACs put together to promote joining. They simply put these door hangers on neighborhoods they knew had large elementary school aged population. Now, here's a tip from the experts. When planning your first PAC in-person event, keep it simple. Most PACs just decided to do something fun and easy, like fishing, where it is easy to do social distancing and families can come and go. Flying kites, a drive-in, or backyard movie are simple to put on. As you and your PAC evaluate your first event, your event planning skills will increase. Cones, painter's tape, and surveyor paint are your best friends. One PAC conducted a complete overnight camp out, and marked off areas for each family where they could be mask-free, something their local regulations allowed. Hand sanitizer, hand washing stations, and masks, providing these essentials at your events will ensure that everyone can keep to the practices necessary to keep everyone safe. We are Scouts. We are problem solvers. We adapt, and we do so with a cheerful spirit. Our children, the next generation of leaders, are watching us and how we take on this challenge. I know that we will not let them down. I know you won't let them down. Now, it's time for you to share. Consider these questions and discuss them with your fellow Scout leaders. What are your local regulations about meeting in person? Who has found a way to conduct an event in person that meets with local regulations? What events have they done? What lessons have they learned? If your local regulations allow it, or when they do, will you commit to conducting an event in person? All right, thanks for being at Roundtable. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Hey, Barbie, can I share something with you?
Absolutely.
That I know that guy is a little interesting, and he's a little over the top, but he has nearly the entire first quarter of Roundtable Cub Scout videos done. And the boys that cut the Scouts BSA side, they don't even have December's done. He loves his job.
That's good. We love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's good at it.
All right, so here are our discussion points. What are our local regulations about meeting in person? And I know that Nathan just sent out an email from the council perspective. I think it was last week. Katie, correct me if I'm wrong. That just gave, maybe it was earlier this week, that gave more information from a council perspective about meeting in person and what to do and not to do. So, you know, with the spike that we've had in the Lubbock area and the cases on the rise, you know, kids are still in school. And so I think as long as we are meeting the regulations that are currently in place, then we can go ahead and continue to meet in person if you are. We, with CUBPAC 574, just as an example, have been meeting at a park. So, still outdoors. It has been a little more difficult with the time change and it getting so dark so quickly. It's amazing how that 1 hour just goes so fast. And this last Tuesday night, they were at the park and had lanterns, and everybody was at their different, each of the groups was there kind of around a different little picnic area table and went through their things. We did have a couple of our dens that met virtually, but those den leaders that did have things that they wanted to do and meet outdoors, they did do that with the smaller groups. So have you, with your units, are you meeting in person? Where are you meeting, and how are you doing those meetings?
Well, we're meeting at our charter organization. It's the Methodist Shallwater Church.
Mm-hmm.
And our pack has been real small this year, so we haven't had any issues meeting any type of guidelines. We've been meeting in person since the beginning of school and just conducting the program as normal.
And with that, are you, do you have a requirement for masks and those types of things when you're indoors?
No, because we have a big enough space at the church where we can distance really well.
Okay.
So we don't really require it. We basically left it up to the parents. If they want their kids to have masks, then we're not going to tell them no, obviously. But we also have sanitizer and everything that people can use all the time if they need to.
Yep.
But so far, it's been good. And like I said, we're real small, but the parents that we do have, they haven't had any issues, haven't said anything anyway about any type of concerns. But we tell the boys all the time, just like you're at school, hands to yourself, no horseplay, basically. It's hard to tell boys much of that, but just stick on them about always trying to grab each other.
Amber, how about PEC 110? Where are you guys meeting?
We were meeting at the park for a while, but like you said, with the difficult time change and everything, Nathan and the people at the Scout Shop have opened it up to us on Monday nights. We are requiring now for people to wear masks since the spike and since Nathan's email. We do offer hand sanitizer. We even have the masks on hand for parents and kids that want to wear them. And we also, like our bigger group, the past 2 meetings, they went into another room or went outside to do their activities, and then we came back. And then we have one den that has been doing distance meetings because they had an exposure elsewhere.
Okay.
So
Jennifer, PAC 536 had a PAC meeting in the park the other night. Are y'all still meeting in the park? Did the church let you in? What are y'all gonna do?
It's kind of a hybrid right now. The church did decide to let us in, but there was a lot of restrictions with that. So as of like this past Monday that we just had, one den met inside, but I mean, the church has restrictions on the mask and all that stuff. One den is meeting at their assistant den leader's house. And then the other 4 dens of ours, we still met in the park area. Our den, we brought a canopy and we hung lanterns all around it and had everyone do their chairs in a circle around the canopy. And it worked. I mean, we could see each other just fine with what we had. And David decided, because we have one parent in our den that's a little bit concerned about it. And he said, as long as the weather's not too cold, we'll just keep doing that because we'd rather them feel comfortable than going inside.
Yeah.
And the PAC meeting worked out well, even though it was after the time change. We got a donation of 2 of those, a work site lights, and it was awesome. It made it where everyone could see for the whole pack. I mean, we have a lot of people there, so I thought it went really well.
Yeah, it was before the number of 10, because y'all had way more than 10. They had fabulous lights. They had a sound system. They had their groups, really far apart. Their dens were very far apart. And it was
in the ground like lions.
It was awesome. It was really awesome. I pulled up to deliver their recharter packet, and I was like, this is so cool. And we took a picture from the back, but then we didn't put it out there because we knew the rules had changed, were changing, and we didn't want to get anybody in trouble. So we just kind of kept it to ourselves. But we may send it to Katie anyway.
But I do think we're okay to do that because, we had the mayor come to one of our den meetings, and it was right before the thing happened. But then one of our dens had met with they had the police department come afterwards, the Saturday afterwards. And we had told him, no, Scouts is exempt. We're part of the youth, blah, blah, blah. So he confirmed it with the police department, and they said, no, yeah, Scouts is fine as long as y'all are being safe, and especially outdoors is safer and so on.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. It's youth sporting events. They're allowing those.
Right.
I mean, those kids are spitting on each other. I'd like to think our kids aren't spitting on each other, but I know they really probably are. But
you never know.
But I think our numbers are down a little bit, but everyone that has been there, we've gotten a lot of positive comments. So that's encouraging.
Yeah, I know with Pack 574, they had also planned to do their Raingutter Regatta. They were going to break it up and do it by den, which is a little different than they've done it in years past. The only unfortunate part was that they had planned to do it on that Tuesday night when we had the cold snap and schools were closed and the ice and snow. So that is going to get postponed to another time. But the families were still really looking forward to doing that. And I think to the point in the video, they're just ready for some normalcy. Everybody just has COVID fatigue and they're just ready to be able to do something different. So I think that, us planning safe events and getting them back to some of that normalcy as much as possible, even if we're doing it with face coverings, that the families appreciate that and it's an outlet for their children, and for the adults as well.
Yeah. Well, and for our pack meeting, since it was outdoors, we always have a gathering activity, and we kind of went ideas on that. And we ended up bringing a bunch of paper plates, and we had 4 lines of Scouts. And so they had to put the plate between their knees and run across. And then once they got across, they had to sign a little paper to put their name to get in a drawing for a prize. So it worked out well too.
Oh.
I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's going to come down to, and I think this is good for us because I think as I am an old Scout leader, I've been doing this for a really long time. So, I've never had to face this before. So I'm having to think, how do I do this in a safe way? How do I do an icebreaker virtually? And so I'll just tell you, we're ahead of the ball game because I'm going to conferences all the time and they're like, we don't know what we're going to do. We haven't had it. We're trying to plan this event. And I'm like, at Scouts, we do this. We, as a matter of fact, Roundtable planning, the planning group that we designed this, they were like, how do you take attendance? And I was like, you have them put their name and their unit into the chat box and the chat gets downloaded. And they were like, really? I did not know that. So I feel like, as a whole, we're ahead of some of the game, but it's really, I think, energized some of our leaders because they're getting to think outside the box. And they're getting to do things in a unique way. And we're getting to see things done in a unique way. But I do think you're right. It's normalcy. And I think the other side of it is if we have a church that has multiple rooms, there's no reason, as long as our dens aren't bigger than 25% of that capacity, that we can't have those dens in different rooms. Now, if your church doesn't want you in different rooms, then I understand that. But if they're willing to open up the room and you're willing to clean it afterwards, you can find a creative way to do a a flag ceremony where everybody stands in their room and the flag walks by and everybody says pledge at the same time. There are just some fun things that you could do. But I think that it is going to require some of us to think outside the box and be creative. I mean, I just, that to me, 536 doing their pack meeting outside, and it was huge and they had lights. I mean, that's creative. We were very impressed with you guys. You know, we went over to Pack 110 who was meeting at the park, and, you know, we were impressed with them. We've been impressed with Pack 515 because they're still meeting. 574, they're still meeting. And they're doing it. And if you think about it, and I don't want to curse us or anything, but at this point of all the things we've done, I've not heard of one person coming back and saying, I got COVID at Scouts. There's not been an event where somebody's come back and said, oh, I went to Cub Day Camp and I got COVID. Right? Katie's going, there better not be. But there hasn't been. Because we've been doing what we're supposed to do, which is, you know, follow the rules, hand sanitize, wear our face mask, doing all the things that we're supposed to be doing. Katie, you haven't heard anybody get COVID, have you?
Nope, we haven't had anybody say anything to us.
Well, and we've had, I think we've had 2 siblings of Scouts that had it, and they had actually been at a meeting, but nobody had gotten it from those. So that is encouraging too, which they were all meeting outside, and that's obviously less likely to spread. But it's encouraging that, I mean, you don't have a stigma around Scouts that we're virus spreaders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think too, that's the other part of it. Like you said, Jennifer, it's knowing your parents and being willing to accommodate. Because like you said, you have that one parent that is just really uncomfortable with going back indoors, and that's okay. How can we accommodate that? Right. Because to me, and I think we're going to have to move to that. You know, we've got numbers. It's great. I think now we're going to have to stop looking at how many kids we have and start looking at what is the quality of our program. Are we doing quality program for those kids that we have? Are we benefiting them? Because I think that's where we're going to have to move to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. For those that are coming, we want them to keep coming. We want them to see value and benefit, and, you know, we want them to be excited about the meeting night and not have to drag them out.
Well, and I think that can be the best advertising too, is if they tell their friends how much fun they're having.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Josh,
yeah,
Mike tells us that shallow water is unique in that COVID doesn't exist there. It's just a very different feel.
Oh, it exists. It exists. I mean, like my assistant Cub Master, his son is quarantining right now because he was exposed or some type of close contact. So this past week, I told him to stay home, and their pack basically, he just sent out a text through our communication app, of what to do for this week. But that den is so small, so it only affected like 3 kids, but the rest of us still met. And I just had some other one of the other registered adults come in so that we'd have the 2 coverage for us.
I think that's
it exists out here. It's just that it's not affecting the Scouts really. I think it's just because we're so small.
Yeah. And I think that brings up another good point, Josh, is that the units really need to take full advantage of their messaging apps and their communication platforms.
Yes.
So which platform are y'all using?
Yeah, I agree with that. We use an app called Team Reach. We used to use GroupMe, and the bad thing about GroupMe is everything was just kind of on one page, so a lot of the conversations got jumbled up. It was hard to keep track of. So I switched over to Team Reach, and then I created a different channel per se for each of the dens, and then one for just the leaders and one for just the pack as a whole, so that we could separate those messages per den as they need to know them. And then anything that's pack wide, we can let everybody know about once. And it's kind of like a Facebook where you can reply to a post. So it keeps all those responses to that original post all in the line, so it's easier to keep track of. And it puts the most recent one on top, so you don't have to go searching for the most recent stuff. So
I've never
I
heard
like
of
it.
that. Is it free? Or is
Yes,
there a cost?
no, it's a free one. That's called Team Reach.
Team as in TEAM.
Reach.
Interesting. I haven't heard of that one. Jennifer, do y'all use a messaging app of our platform?
Yeah, the last 2 years we were using before that GroupMe as well, but we were getting people sending messages late at night and it was jumbled. So we switched to Slack. And so similar to what Josh said, we have channels for each den. We have a general channel, a Cub Day channel, Weeblos Woods channel, committee channel. But the nice thing about Slack is you can set it your own, where you can be pinged time. So if you don't want anyone to message you after 8 p.m., you can, it's not going to send it to you till that next morning.
I like that.
Another great part about Slack, because we use Slack at work, it has the free app has a huge amount of storage space that's already included with Slack. And there's also a paid version if you need more, but I would seriously doubt any Cub Scout pack out there would ever reach that.
2 years and we're getting close to the limit, but it's just going to start deleting stuff from 2 years ago. So I don't figure that's too big of a deal.
Amber, do y'all use a messaging or a platform like that, or are you just doing all emails?
We actually use Facebook. I tried a independent like text message thing that the schools use. I forget what name it is right off the top of my head. However, the parents didn't really like that so well. So all the parents are on Facebook except for 3, and I independently text them.
And Barbie, what does 574 use?
They use Remind, which is what a lot of the schools use.
And then we said
their website.
That's the one that we used, Barbie.
Okay. The PAC website also has an email messaging system and a weekly newsletter. So we sign everybody up for that and get them a login to the website. And so that puts them on that email, the weekly newsletter. And then the majority of the communications though, for events and more in the moment type notifications are through Remind.
I do think that's going to be, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, the further out we're spread, I think those types of platforms are going to be really important because, you know, it used to take us hours upon hours. We have to go sit at the school if something happened and be like, oh, there's no scouts tonight. And everybody would leave mad because they got up and they came. And so, Barbie, what do you use as a website? They asked. Amber was asking what website.
Give me a second. I have to think about it's just our.
Do you know what platform they're using? As I say, do you know what platform they're using?
That's what I'm looking up. I know the web address, but that's our pac574.org, but I'm trying to think of the service behind it. There's an annual fee that's like $95 or something, but it's got a really good capability. You can, you know, personalize it to your own unit, and it's for scout units. But it's got the email system and the newsletter.
If you find it, if you don't find it before the end, will you email that to Amber?
Yes. It's SOAR, SOAR. But I'll send the link to you, Amber. And the PAC also set up a Facebook page, a closed Facebook page this year, because when they were doing over the spring and summer, they were doing their virtual PAC meetings and they would just do it through Facebook Live events. They found that to be the best way for people to connect and not have, timeout issues with Zoom and that type of thing.
So they were having a lot of problems with timeouts with Zoom.
Well, free accounts, there's a 40-minute limit.
Oh, okay.
And they just found that a lot of the families were already on Facebook. And so having that private group and being able to do a Facebook Live, it was just easier for some of the things that they did. Their den meetings, the majority of them are using, Zoom or different platforms of that nature for those that are doing virtual den meetings.
Jennifer, y'all did a couple of PAC meetings virtually, correct, on Facebook?
Not Facebook. David and I don't do Facebook, but we did Zoom in the spring. But once we hit the summer, we made sure that we did a June, July, August, just in-person meetings. So we pretty much ended the online in May, except for our den that one week that it was really icy and we were supposed to have our PAC meeting. We ended up doing a Zoom den meeting that night. But other than that, we're pretty much in person. And it worked, but
go ahead.
I don't think you just don't get the action as much, I guess.
Yeah,
I think David did a good job, but
yeah, I've been talking with a lot of groups about, everybody keeps telling me they're tired. And I read a great story in a Brene Brown book about military people who talk about being tired and being exhausted. And it's not that they're exhausted, they're just lonely. There's no connection. And I feel like to some extent, I'm seeing that across the board with some of the people that I interact with. They're always tired. I'm always tired. I'm tired. And it is because this is great. And I appreciate that we have it, but I miss seeing people face to face. I miss being able, I'm not a big hugger, but I miss being able to hug those people that I allow to hug me. Like Katie and, Barbie occasionally. But, I think our parents and our kids are the same way. They're just having a hard time with that separation. And I think it's hard. So I guess my question would be, if we were going to do an event in the next 3 months, we have four PACs represented. What would you want to see in the next 4 months?
like council-wide?
Uh-huh. Now we've been talking about trying to figure out a way to do a district Pinewood Derby. How do y'all feel about that?
I would like to do a district Pinewood Derby.
I know
I had
you
plans
would.
for it last year, and I'm so bummed.
I know. I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to run. It's gonna have to look different. I think we're gonna have to run. It's gonna have to take longer, and I think we're gonna have to run it by dens and by units. So like between these 2 hours, all of the wolves are gonna come, and we're gonna start with PAC 110, and then we're gonna do PAC 536, and then we're gonna do PAC 515. I don't think we're gonna have that traditional feel of a Pinewood Derby, and I hate that because I feel like it might take away from it, but I don't know that I see a way around that. And just so y'all know, we should have gotten
I don't know.
We should have gotten our cue, but I'm not really sure what. We may go back to the room unexpectedly, just so y'all know.
We have 2 minutes.
I was thinking we should be getting our
I
cue.
know, our PAC always does our own Pinewood Derby, so I don't know how much also go on to the district one.
You know what might be a pretty easy thing to do would be for a council-wide is maybe rent the drive-in theater and show a movie that everyone can stay in their cars pretty much. Whenever they come in, maybe you hand them some popcorn through the window and have them go park and watch a movie.
Well, and I know we did a drive-in thing last summer, and they gave all of our scouts a discount. It was like the military discount price, but they just had to say, they were with scouts.
We did that for our church for Mother's Day, and it worked really well. They had people standing there. They handed the moms a gift. They handed the kids some candy and a goodie bag, and we went and parked and we watched basically our church service that was recorded.
I think that's a really good idea that Josh had.
Okay.
Yeah. Our PAC has done the drive-in in summers past, and it is a lot of fun.
And just depends on if you probably have to do an RSVP, I would imagine, to gauge interest in it. So you would know if you needed to rent maybe two of the screens to show, I don't know, whatever Christmas movie or whatever movie you want to show. But that way, you would know about how much space you would need to set off, and maybe do it on not a weekend night where they're not going to be busy anyway.
Are they very busy on the weekends?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think you may be more. I think you may be surprised. It's probably going to depend on what movies they're showing.
Since there's no new releases, everything's pretty old.
Yeah.
All right. It did not give us our 2-minute warning. We have our 2-minute warning right now. So you have 112 seconds left, Barbie.
When we did the drive-in, and we found that Friday night we had better attendance than Saturday night, just because people didn't want to stay out late before church.
That's true.
Yeah.
And with football winding down in the area, people are used to being out on Friday nights anyway.
Right.
So they'll need something else to go to, I guess.
And I think the gentleman that owns the drive-in is
he's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, he's a scouter.
Yeah, he is. He's an Eagle Scout, so we like that. Maybe we should show that really, really old movie that's Follow Me, Boys. So old, probably none of you have seen it.
I've seen it.
Release.
I don't know if we could even
I've seen
find
it. That's a great movie.
I don't even know if we could.
Is that the one with the 4 boys who walk around on the tracks?
No, this is
no. Follow Me, Boys. It's about a scoutmaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we saw another old one where, it was just this random like spaghetti Western, and the hero had the help of the local Boy Scout troop to help him capture the villain. It was so old. It was so hilarious. So much fun to watch. Look up Follow Me, Boys, Josh, because you will absolutely love the movie. So about 15 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and jump out.
I saw that video.
I'm sure it's out there on YouTube.
What video are we talking about?
It's a master's practice where the guy skips a golf ball across the water
yes.
3 or 4 times and makes a hole in one.
See, here we are. We're talking about movies like Follow Me, Boys.
That's a true statement. We were talking about Follow Me, Boys.
I'm saying, not watching some golf.
Is golf a winter sport if it happens in November?
That's not it. Golf is not even a sport.
That's one of my
Why
favorite
would you
movies.
even say that?
Oh, come on.
Golf is a sport. It has a ball.
It was originally made as a gentleman's club. The name of golf is Gentlemen Only, Ladies Forbidden.
I don't play golf. I play hide and seek mainly. I just have to go find my ball.
Oh, see, I
play
say
the radio.
I play shank it and cuss. That's what I play.
I used to give my husband a hard time because I would tell him he needed to exercise. And he'd go, well, I play golf. And I said, no, you need aerobic exercise. And he said, you haven't seen me play golf. Well, he spends a lot of time chasing the ball. Yeah.
It counts as if he doesn't use the cart.
Right. Yeah, that's what he said.
All right. Do we have Mike May back?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. May, Commissioner's Minute?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Barbie and her team for the wonderful job of putting on these roundtables that they do and all the hard work that they put into this. It's recharter time, and I believe, Katie, correct me, is it the 10th of December we want these turned in by?
I believe it's the 14th.
It is the 14th.
December.
Yes, the 14th, Monday the 14th.
So I scared y'all all with the 10th. You got 4 extra days. So, there you go. So that's, you know, the next round table is on the 10th, and then shortly after those are due. So the commissioners have been getting the recharter packets. Christy Hust and Sammy and Katie have done a wonderful job of putting all that together. If you are doing your recharter and your unit has not received it yet, shoot me a line at mike.may@lubbockisd.org, and we will make sure that we get your packet to you and make sure there's no delay in that. If you're having any trouble filling those out, reach out to us, reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we got somebody that can assist you. And just appreciate all y'all being here tonight and continuing to try to keep scouting strong in the South Plains Council. And with that, I'll turn it over to Randall Huss. Or hope he's trying to unmute.
Okay, I don't know.
He's trying to come out of the dark.
Let's say I don't know if y'all can see. Maybe may get some feedback. I'm doing double duty because I'm hanging out with a 4-year-old while we're doing this. So yeah, not much to add other than just to recap what Mike said. Huge thanks to all the folks getting the recharter packets out. Big thanks to Sammy for getting those put together. Looking forward to another great year of on-time recharter. We did really well last year as far as getting these in on time. We only had a few that were lagging, and so hopefully we'll be on point with that one too. So again, just appreciate all that you guys are doing. For those of you guys that don't know, I am coming to the end of my tenure. So December 31st, I will be stepping down as council commissioner at the end of my 3-year term, and we'll have a new council commissioner. And I'll be pursuing other ventures, but I'll still be hanging out and I'll still be around to help out wherever I can. So I just want to thank you guys for all that you do and for your tireless efforts to try to bring this such a meaningful cause to the youth that we serve. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we will move on to our closing remarks, and we just have a short video to watch. Here we go.
I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody let's celebrate. Get down. I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day.
Thank you for all your hard work and dedication in supporting the Boy Scouts of America.
Thanks for helping venturers like me. Hi, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feeling real good cause today is a good day. I got a a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. I'm about to send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody, let's celebrate. I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day. Come on. I'm feeling real good. Yeah, I said I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good. That's right. I'm feeling real good. Hey, yo, I'm feeling right. I'm feeling real good.
I told you.
I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day. I got a big surprise and I'm gonna send it your way. It's a wonderful time, everybody, let's celebrate. I'm feeling real good cause today is a good day.
Three, two, one.
So I just think that's a great reminder that that's what we do it for, is those smiling faces and the scouts just getting to learn new skills and things that they may not learn anywhere else, or have the support that they get through scouting that they may not get anywhere else. So thanks again for joining us this evening, and thanks for all that you do to help put together a quality program for our youth and the reason that we do what we do. So we appreciate you as volunteers and all the time and effort that you put into the quality programs for your units and at the district level and the council level. So thank you all very much. And as Mike mentioned, our next roundtable is going to be on December the 10th, most likely a virtual roundtable again, just due to the current circumstances with the pandemic, but we will certainly keep you posted on that. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up for the evening, or anything that you wanted to talk about? Any closing
Barbie,
thoughts?
can you remind us about scouting for food? I know Alan was on here and I can't tell if he's still on here. But can one of the two of you tell us about the
he
meeting on?
dropped and then he couldn't get back.
Can you tell us about the meeting then?
Yes. Yes, so Scouting for Food, we have a meeting on next Thursday, November the 19th. It's going to be at the Scout office at 7 p.m. That's where you'll pick up your door hangers for your unit, as well as the maps for the area that you're going to cover. The suggested time to put out those flyers is going to be Saturday, December the 5th. 5th is a Saturday, 5th or 6th. That first weekend in December, the first Saturday. And the thing with the Scouting for Food this year is there will not be any food pickup. So we're just going to be putting out the door hangers, and on those door hangers there will be a QR code and more information as to how people are going to be able to donate either money or go in and do an online shopping experience where they can purchase food that will then be delivered and provided to the food bank. But the food bank, because of the pandemic and the social situation, they're not able to accept donations directly from people. So we're not going to be doing any bag pickups. So it will just be putting out the flyers that first Saturday in December, or whatever works best for your unit around that time. And to get more information, to pick up your door hangers and your maps, meet at the Scout office next Thursday evening, November the 19th at 7 p.m.
Jennifer Johnson wanted to remind everyone to make sure you vote in the Citibank's community rewards. The Scout office, I believe, is one of the options to vote for. You can vote every hour on the hour. Katie, do you know what that money might be used for?
I do not. I really have no idea. We haven't won in a really long time, so I couldn't even tell you what they used it for last time. But yeah, voting goes through December 13th, I think. So get on and vote and tell your friends. We already won $500 just for Nathan and I signing up to do this. So
nice.
We've gotten some money, but more would be great.
Yes, it would. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, every hour on the hour, you're able to vote from every individual email you have. If you have 5 like myself, you are allowed to vote 5 times an hour. It is a full-time job to vote from every email that I own. So Anybody need anything else from us before we close out our meeting? If not, you guys have a great evening. We appreciate you being here. Like Barbie said, thank you for everything that you do. And stay safe and stay healthy, guys. Good night.
We'll see you December the 10th. Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.